So Chivas this weekend, what stands out to you about their squad?
I think they're an improved squad. I think Wilmer's done a good job in terms of bringing organization to the team. So they're organized. Obviously, quality of players improved. Mauro Rosales, we know his quality. He's a good player. Barrero's played on the left for them. Has shown himself to be a quality player. Torres has got 5 goals. So they definitely have some offensive weapons that are there. We'll have to see. I don't know if they've announced anything yet on McNamara and see what his status is. But they're definitely an improved team, a better organized team than last year.
Being so familiar with Mauro, does that give you some sort of advantage of how to play up against him?
He's going to be motivated because, he's going to want to play well, and our guys are going to be motivated also. I think Leo has an understanding of what he's going to do, but he also has an understanding of what Leo does. So, it's probably even, when you look at it that way. But it'll be a good matchup, good game.
We talk about going against former players for this team a lot, but he was a captain of this team. Is there a different emotion going into that sort of game?
Mauro is a player who I think all the players here really liked and respected and admired in terms of what he did, and he's always handled himself tremendously with the group, and the reason he's not here really has nothing to do with us not wanting him here. It's more, a function of salary cap, etc. So it's a little bit different, a little special, because I think his bonds were, ties were pretty tight to some of the guys, but, it's what happens in professional sports, and you just got to move on.
Brad was talking like he's ready to be back. Just what does it mean to have him back? He's obviously an important guy for you.
Well, it's good. Just today playing in the 11v11, Brad's kind of guy when he's out on the field and you're standing as a coach. A lot of times I stand in the middle of it because I want to hear. And he's one of the guys that's organizing and talking to people and directing people. And when Brad's not in there, that's the part of it that you miss sometimes. So, he's come through all these practices this week really well. So I think he's 100% healthy. Is he 100% fit to go 90 minutes? Maybe not at this stage, but, that's something that'll come shortly.
What sort of role do you see him playing? Do you see him in the starting 11 or coming off the bench?
Don't know yet. Haven't made my final decision on that.
Even if you had, you probably wouldn't tell him.
That's true.
Brad said he had
You're absolutely correct on that.
Brad said that a couple weeks after the injury wasn't healing as fast as they thought, apparently an MRI revealed a hematoma.
And there was like a second injury. So that's why our feeling was that maybe we pushed too hard. He pushed too hard a little bit to start. So there was a second little injury that cropped up. That in connection with what the first injury was is what delayed the process.
And you feel like that's totally behind him at this point then?
Yeah, no, he's felt well. He's not wearing the sleeve anymore. He hasn't had any pain, and he's been training. Today's Thursday, so he's been training full since Sunday. So that's had five days basically, because when the others were off, we still had him go through a session.
Dan Kennedy is a longtime keeper in the league, and he and Stephen Fry, when he was in Toronto, had those situations where they were good keepers but left on an island quite a bit. How does a keeper deal with those kinds of situations?
I think there's pluses and minuses to those situations. Sometimes for a goalkeeper, when you're under pressure a lot, it's easier to shine, and it's easier to stay focused and be mentally involved in the game because you're constantly under pressure. The hardest thing for goalkeepers, and for me what's always been the true test of the guys who are a step beyond the others, is the guys who are in goal and are called upon only maybe 3 or 4 times a game, a couple times a half, and they got to be sharp, alert, focused, and ready. And that's sort of that next level. And and with Dan right now, with Chivas being a better team, he's facing more of those situations, and he's a quality goalkeeper, and that's the last bit of evolution that always occurs for a goalkeeper. Can you now, when you're not under siege all the time, and just get called on an occasional basis, are you ready for that?
Just said that players need to be sharp and ready. Do you feel that Brad will be sharp and ready for this match after not playing for so long?
Brad Evans? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's ready and he's motivated. So he's a player who, if anything, Brad is sometimes over ready for situations, but that's just his own personal DNA and the way he prepares for games and the way he looks at them. But it's also a situation that, you know, there's a lot going for him. There's a lot at stake. He wants to get back. He wants to get on the field. He wants to get minutes as soon as possible.
I know it's different teams on both sides, but for the holdovers, can Seattle's success against Chivas mean anything mentally going into this game?
You know, every game's a new game, and, you know, I know sometimes you have streaks against certain teams, positive and negative streaks, but, you know, we really don't think about that when we go into a game. We just think about it, here's the opponent this week, this is who they're going to put on the field, this is who we're putting on the field, this is what we need to do in order to have success this week.
Anything else?
Thanks, Coach.